one. You ready for this, Victoria?
So ready.
Hey, this is Macky with Hidden Threads, the podcast about private investigations and a whole lot of what, Victoria?
Other stuff.
Other stuff. We should put that in the title.
Other stuff.
Private investigations and other stuff. So we just got through the weekend. What'd you do this weekend, Victoria?
A whole bunch of nothing.
Nothing?
Yeah.
Did you lay around and watch TV?
Yeah. I watched Band of Brothers all the way through.
Really? Again?
Yeah.
You can never go wrong with Band of Brothers.
It's so good.
So the next one, you have to watch The Pacific.
I haven't seen that.
That's about similar to Band of Brothers. It's about the Marines over in the island hopping campaign at the same time. So yeah, it's very good. So take a look at that. You notice I got my headphones on today. I did get a mixer board. Hey, we're going to conquer this sound, Spotify crowd. We've had some sound issues if you haven't noticed, but if you turn your radio up real loud on the old ones, you can still hear it.
Yeah.
So here we go. All right. So what's our topic today, Victoria?
I thought we'd go over client expectations and the contract.
Okay. Client expectations in the contract. So you take a lot of calls, Victoria, throughout the day.
Yes, I do.
Another thing I got to focus on is I say and so a lot. It was pointed out to me on YouTube.
I say for sure.
For
absolutely.
Sure. All right. So we're going to work on that. Right?
Yes.
All right. Okay. But the client expectations. So Victoria, you take a lot of calls ranging from, hey, I just need to find somebody with a short little search using TLO, or all the way up to criminal cases where somebody's in jail, right?
Yeah.
Your first interaction with them, what do you tell them?
Normally, when I initially get on the phone call, they give like a little 5-minute rundown of what's going on. And then the next questions are, how does this work? What are the hours? What do you charge? So I'd say that's the main thing people ask first. It's price and how many hours do we think it's going to take to accomplish the goal? Yeah, that's where it starts.
Okay. Yeah, I've taught you to do that, right? So our goal with that first call is we hear what they got to say for a little bit. They give us a short rundown, and then we go into what's the expectations. What are they looking to accomplish?
Yeah.
Sometimes they'll go in a variety of things. When I get into a real consultation, when we're on that hour consultation, either in person or on the phone, and they'll be like, they're just talking about everything. Yes. You ever notice that?
It's a lot to unload at once.
Yeah, it's fine. I mean, it's emotional time, and I don't mind them unloading on me. But the big thing I try to do is say, hey, what are we trying to accomplish here? Sometimes we got to figure it out for them. We're like, okay, so based off what you've told me, let's use a divorce situation. I'm going through divorce. I think my husband's cheating on me, and they go through all this stuff they get into the emotional side of it. Like, he treats me bad. He treats the kids this way. All these things that we would never see because it's happening behind closed doors. Right. So we try to get it down to, so what is he doing outside the home that we can use to help your case and to help you get alimony? I just said, but alimony.
Yeah. Whether it be through like cohabitation,
drugs, another person involved. Are they seeing somebody at lunchtime or at night while they're at work? Yeah. So we have to narrow that down and get it to them. The big thing about expectations is we have a contract. We don't do anything. Well, we do some small stuff without a contract. You're talking $200 or less type of stuff.
Background check.
Background checks, those kind of things. That doesn't require a contract. All right. Now, when we start getting up in the big stuff where we are charging hours of time over weeks of time, then your fee goes up, all right, as it should. Right?
Yeah,
because we're spending a lot of time working this case, and we put it in our contract. Hey, we can't guarantee the outcome of this investigation. You've seen that in there, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think a lot of our clients just skip over that part. What do you think?
I think so too. I mean, that's like they expect us to find something. We don't control people. We control the surveillance we take, and that's all we can control. Right. What the people are doing is on them. Right.
Let's read a Google review here. I got. Let me find it. I had it pulled up. All right. This man, he was a granddad. So they had adopted his daughter and son-in-law were adopting a child, right? And when they filed the paperwork, this kid came out of nowhere and said, hey, I'm the dad and I want this kid. Now, if you get into this kid and his parents and his mother and some other folks that he lives with, then you'll see that they're wanting this child so they can get some kind of extra benefits. What would you call it? Medicare, Medicaid?
Yeah, Medicaid.
Or extra money for groceries, those kind of things.
Yeah, yeah.
I don't think this boy had any interest in being a dad. Okay. Now, the adoptive parents they wanted a kid. They've been trying to have a kid for years and they could never have one. So good for them, right?
Absolutely.
But this is a baby we're dealing with. And he hired me. He said, hey, let's go see what this guy was all about. And we said, right on, man. We're going to do it. We got out watching this guy. We found out he worked at Arby's, found he was employed. They accused him. My client said that his kid was on drugs and often would spend evenings out all night drinking, doing drugs and all these things. So we watched this kid for 3 weeks and he didn't do any of that.
Mm-hmm.
And is that my fault?
No.
Okay. According to this client, it is. It said investigation fell short of what was expected. Total waste of money. Okay.
Our job is to get to the truth, not make stuff up to help your case.
We can't make it up. I'll take the bad Google review. We're not going to make anything up.
Right.
Also, in this case, we did a lot of dumpster diving. We went through several people's trash kid was at their house to see how much alcohol is being consumed. There was none. Maybe this kid's turned over a new leaf.
Right.
Who knows, right? But we try to get it out there in front before people spend $5,000 or more with us.
Absolutely.
Everybody's like, $5,000. Yes. We'll get into that here in just a few minutes. Hey, we cannot control how these people is going to act in that period of time that we are watching.
Yes.
We go out, we're diligent at trying to find out what's going on through social media, digital forensics, physical surveillance, trash grab, you name it. We do all of it.
Yeah.
And I try to tell these people, hey, this block of time we're watching, they may not do anything and they may be the best people you've ever seen in your life. And sometimes they get upset with us about it, but I can't help it.
And we're always very upfront and honest. You know, it's 25 hours. If we don't find anything in the 25 hours, it's up to you if you want to keep pushing or call it off.
Right.
I mean, it's not like we're trying to do one over on them.
Right.
You know?
Yeah. And they get mad at us about it and leave us a 1-star review.
Yeah.
But I'm good with that. Hey,
okay.
A review is a review.
Yeah.
And
you did your job on that. It's
right.
just, yeah.
We've even had them come back to us after several months and say, I want my money back. And we don't do that either. You know, we've done the investigation. Now, if we've screwed something up, which we have before, I'm going to be honest with everybody. We have screwed things up. We've been busted because investigators were lazy. We've been busted because investigators just didn't pay attention to what they were doing. And I have refunded people's money. Very rare that happens.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to sit here and say we have not messed up.
Right.
Now, if you have an investigator out there, if you're talking to one, and they say they have never been busted or messed something up, they're lying to you. They're not pushing hard enough if they haven't, in my opinion.
Yeah.
So they're going to be pushing to get that information out there. So, so yeah, what do you want to get into next? The contract a little bit, how much it costs?
Yeah, I think
those
we
kind
should
of things.
Dive into price a little bit because I think people when they call the phone, a lot of people are like, "Whoa." I don't think they expect it to be as much as it is and the work that does have to go into it and that goes behind it.
Right. So I would say you talk to people a lot. So I would say probably 90% of the people that call in do not do business with us.
Correct.
Because of the price.
Correct.
What do you think?
Probably higher percentage than that for real.
And we're not going to lower our price. Not going to happen. So our price, I'll just say it right here. My competitors.
Yes.
Right? Now, most competitors know my pricing and they try to undercut my pricing, which is fine. I don't do a race to the bottom. We are a premium service with premium investigators and we have premium pricing.
Correct.
Right? There's other cheap investigators out there. So it's a free market. You're welcome to go. Some people get mad at us because their price is high.
Yeah. I mean, you get what you pay for. When you go to court and you need someone to testify in court on this evidence, you probably want to pay someone that's decent and can testify in court and make you look right.
Right. Yeah. And we go out, we get the evidence and it's diligence, right? We do the diligent effort and time spent, the proper time spent at the right times in the right places. We do that. That's what we do. I make sure that our investigators do it. You've seen me do it. You've seen me make them go out and redo things, haven't you?
Absolutely.
And they don't get paid for the first try. And I make them go ahead and redo it. We have my executive assistant. When I'm recording podcasts like this, she is behind the scenes going through each case. This is a Monday, so we had a lot of evidence gathered this weekend. She's going through every piece of evidence gathered to make sure it meets our standards. And if they didn't meet the standards, that investigator does not get paid for it.
Right.
So that's the kind of people you're dealing with. But our price, it's $200 an hour, and you're going to pay a minimum of 25 hours when we're dealing with adultery, custody, and criminal defense cases, and digital forensics, depending on the gravity of the investigation.
And I run into a lot of people. We start at 25 hours. That's like what we feel comfortable starting with, because we probably really have a hard time getting evidence less than 25 hours.
Right. And it may be going up too in January, by the way, just to let you know.
Well, it's
we
like
discussed it.
A lot of people call in and they're like, well, I think this can be accomplished in 10 hours. Well, I mean, and then you get into a whole nother situation, because it's like we could take that for 10 hours and then find nothing, and then you're mad. So it's like we have to have the hours to do the job correctly. Right.
We got a recent one going on where the guy paid for, I think, 10 hours. And we told him up front, hey, we're not going to find a lot in these 10 hours. And now he's wanting more evidence, but he don't want to pay for more. And I'm like, I'm not going to keep running around the state of Alabama for free. It's not going to happen.
Why we start with 25 hours? That's
25 hours overtime, me going through the bumps and bruises of this business. If you want to build a real case, a real story about what's going on, anything less than that, you're just wasting your time. And we charge for driving to where we're going. Some people get mad about that. Yeah, we're not going to drive 4 hours for free. It's not going to happen.
Yeah.
People get mad at us because report writing gets counted in those hours. I'm not going to write reports for you for free. It's not going to happen. It does take time. That's the most important part of the case, by the way. And you don't want to pay for it. So.
For the thing that's going to be put in front of a judge or whoever.
Yeah.
And yeah.
You're right. The 60 or more people is going to read this product, and you don't want me to put time and effort into it. You don't want to pay me for it. So that's interesting. So yeah, our retainer right now, it may be going up. Who knows? We're still discussing it and experimenting with it. $5,000. And then we work against those 25 hours. It's basically like you're putting money in a bank account, and then we're working against it. So every time we do something, an investigative task, it's $200 an hour gets deducted from that. It could be 15-minute increments. It could be 30 minutes. It could be 5 hours, but it gets deducted depending on what we're doing.
Yeah. I just think it's such a valuable service, and some people have a hard time seeing the value in it, which is, it's just insane to me. If you're really going through like a divorce or something and want to protect yourself and get the assets you need and the alimony that you want, you should be willing to pay for value of the service. So.
Yep. So I'm looking at my timer here, Victoria. It's about time for a commercial break. What do you think?
Commercial.
Y'all like my commercials? My wife said they're kind of corny, but hey, we're rolling with them anyways. But yeah, we're going to take a little break, get a sip of coffee, and we'll be back in just a second. Peace. Hey, Macky here. I hope you enjoyed our podcast. I want to talk a little more about what we do in terms of digital forensics. So digital forensics is an interesting aspect of our job, and we're all certified to gather evidence in the digital realm. This means that computers, smartphones, tablets, you name it, we can go in and recover deleted data. Just because they say it's deleted doesn't mean it's deleted. We have the tools and the expertise to recover this data. That includes text messages, emails, cloud forensics, you name it. We are certified to take care of this for you. So if you have questions about digital forensics and how it will help your case, give us a call, 866-910-7499, or reach out to us through MackeyOutlaw.com. Thank you. Everybody, we're back.
Whoop, whoop.
Yep, there's Victoria, and this is Hidden Threads Podcast.
Yeah.
We talk about a lot of stuff other than investigations on here, too. So Victoria just brought something up when we were taking a break here about Theo Vaughn at the fights by himself.
He was sitting, just a chill guy, sitting alone.
I like Theo Vaughn.
I love him.
I think he's a good podcaster, and he's funny.
So funny.
He gets a little crazy with the language sometimes. But
I love it.
He's been chasing after this girl golfer that smokes cigarettes.
Yeah, she's a cutie.
She couldn't make it to the, I guess she's in Britain probably playing golf. So
I have no idea. I just felt so bad that no one was around him.
Right. If you guys see me looking at my phone, I'm looking at the timer. So I'm not checking text messages.
Ooh.
But anyway. All right. What's the second part about, Victoria?
I want to get into some more Google reviews and kind of just
Google reviews. So we've had bad ones.
Yeah.
So we've got, I think it's close to 200 if you count both locations. So we've got Google reviews in our Birmingham office and on our Huntsville office. Mm-hmm. I think it's around 200 total. We're always trying to get more. But leave us
a review.
Leave us a review. Yeah. You can also review the podcast on Spotify.
Do that.
Not a 1-star. We don't like those. Only 5 stars. Anyways, we had another bad review in our Huntsville office from a lady where we went out to prove that her son's baby mama, technical term, right? Baby mama.
Baby mama.
Was running around and leaving the kids abandoned and all these things. So, of course, we went out and did our surveillance at night during the day when this lady told us it was probably happening, and nothing was happening. And we reported that to her, and she goes, "We'll just watch longer." She actually paid for another round, and we kept going. It looked like this woman was a fantastic mother and was doing the right things. And we reported this, and then I'll tell you why we got a bad review here on this one. Was a guy that was working for me got fired. Sometimes people get fired, right?
Yes.
For whatever reason, he got fired, went and started his own company, and he started going to my old clients and saying, "Hey, leave him a bad review." And some of them did, because he did free work for them.
I gotcha.
Yeah. And he said, "I'll do some free work for you, but the only payment I ask for is you leave a bad review on his Google or Facebook or whatever." And she did that. And
so petty.
It is kind of petty.
Yeah.
We deal with competitors. We'll have a podcast about competitors and some things that goes on.
Yeah.
We talked last week about the Alabama Private Investigator Board, and there's some things we'll get into with that and our competition a little bit that has tried to come after us in some petty ways. But back to the reviews. So I approached this woman. I called her, even visited her, had lunch with her, and said, "Why are you keeping this review up there? I know this guy talked you into doing it." And she wouldn't change it. So it's still there. Here's my thoughts on Google reviews. If I see somebody with 200 Google reviews and they're all 5-star,
right?
Is that a little suspicious, Victoria?
And they have the one negative on it?
No, I'm talking if somebody just has all 5-star reviews, 200 plus.
Yeah.
That a little suspicious, because you can pay for reviews.
Yeah.
You can pay for reviews.
Not everyone is going to be 100%.
No.
Right.
Nobody's perfect. If you're saying you're wrong. But that's another bad one we had. And we got several random ones. We got a recent random one where the guy gave us a 1-star review with a smiley face.
I remember this.
I've reached out to the guy. He went onto my content on Facebook, and Joe Clemens, I'm talking to you. He went on my Facebook and left some positive stuff on my Facebook content, the recordings of the podcast we put up, right? He actually made a positive comment. "Hey, this is awesome content, blah, blah, blah." And I think he just messed up.
I hope you messed up.
Yeah. Joe, if you're listening,
fix it.
Take it down or give us that 5-star. Come on. All right. But yeah. And then we got some from competitors where they pretended to be other people and left bad reviews. But overall, we got 4.9 rating in our Huntsville office, 4.8 in our Birmingham office.
Which is fantastic.
It's not bad, right?
It's really not.
Not bad.
It just gets under your skin a little bit when someone leaves something that's like, if they had a good reason behind it, more power to you. But like, that's just silly stuff.
We have some good ones. I'm trying not to say, "Oh, yo, I just did it." We need a little dinger, ding, every time. I say, or so. Anyways, we'll get into some good ones. I'm not going to say the names here because there's still some ongoing stuff. We had a lady leave us a fantastic one, a big long one, about how we found a lot of information. Now, this case was an adultery case and some custody involved. The guy he left his wife, our client, said he wanted a divorce because there was no more excitement in the marriage. You ever heard this before, Victoria?
For sure.
Okay. People typically just don't leave because there's no excitement. All right. They got something else going on.
Yeah.
What do you think?
Definitely something behind the scenes.
Drugs,
most
alcohol.
of the time. Yeah.
Drugs, alcohol, another person, or combination of all three. And this guy, we got a vehicle tracker on this car, which we need to have a whole segment on just GPS tracking.
I'd like that. Yeah.
Okay, sure. And I don't have notes, y'all. Victoria brings the notes and just names a topic and we start talking. That's kind of how it goes, right?
Yeah. Free flow.
Free flow. But anyways, this guy, we saw him take off to Kentucky. One of my good investigators, young bucks. Should I say his name?
If he doesn't care.
Matthew Smith. Holler at you, boy.
Woo,
anyways, he took off, started following him up there, and found him in Berea, Kentucky. And followed him to a restaurant. And while he was at the restaurant, the guy met up with a woman there, and Matthew started recording. There was obviously some romance going on, hand holding, all this. Then they went to a hotel. All right, stayed the night. Matthew recorded him going in. Interesting thing here, he got the woman's tag number. Okay. And it came back to a company. And we said, how do we prove that this woman's driving? So I'll show you how we did that as I go through the story. The they spent the night. He spent the night too. Went down early, had coffee, had some breakfast, and was recording. They came walking out together, holding hands, and then departed, went their own different ways. So I think that's proof that they're having an affair. What do you think, Victoria?
I think that's pretty substantial evidence.
You're a reasonable person, Victoria. You would say that's good?
Yeah.
Okay, good. But how we figured out what this woman's name was. So the hotel was not in our client's husband's name. Mm-hmm. And I called the company that car was registered to. And I said, hey, company, this lady, there's a person here that stayed here. I don't know her name, but she registered under your company. And here's her tag number she wrote down. Mm-hmm. And she left her purse. We need to get her purse to her. We didn't. She gave the address of your company. So they gave me her name, address, and phone number. Mm-hmm. Like I'm a hotel employee.
Yeah.
So we had her information, who she was, who she is.
That's called pretext.
Pretext. That's correct. That's a nice way of saying we lied.
Yes.
So I actually contacted her, did several rounds of interviews with her, telling about how this affair started, how it took place, how it went down. So we got a good review from that client. Yes.
Wow.
We got a good review from that client. Mm-hmm. And I'm not sure what's going on with him. She actually called me here a while back asking, she referred me to one of her buddies, but she's very nice. And any other recent ones you want to discuss, Victoria? Mm-hmm. Now, back to expectations, what this is about. I'm sorry to jump ahead.
No, you're fine.
What would have happened if this guy would have done nothing? We can't make up evidence.
Right. So you would have got a report showing pictures of
him driving around, going to work,
right,
eating dinner, whatever he's doing. But this guy actually did do something. Mm-hmm. So usually based off our consultation with the client, we can tell you if we have a good feeling that they're going to be doing something.
And it seems like a lot of the time, like 80% of people have already started doing their own little digging and investigation. So they kind of know what's going on without, knowing.
They start in on it and the investigation, then they realize how detailed and how time consuming it is. That's why they're paying us, and they get into it.
And we've had people call in and say, I'm going to do this myself. And then they'll call back and
about a few weeks later, like, hey man, this takes too much time.
It does.
You're doing stuff at 3 a.m. And if you're trying to raise a family, keep the home life stable, then you don't have time for all that.
And then under the stress of it all, anyways. Right. Yeah, it's a lot.
Emotions get involved. We don't get as emotional. We're not emotionally attached like they are.
That's another positive of hiring someone like this is the feelings aren't in it. You just do the work.
Right. Yeah. So what's another one? We got any more we want to talk about?
I'm trying to think in my head.
Oh yeah. So we just had one. I'll think for you, Victoria.
Think for me.
Where we proved through video, all kinds of things we used.
Yeah.
That our client's wife was basically living with and dating a young man that is under investigation, had been arrested for taking upskirt photos of young girls at Buc-ee's.
I forgot about this, yeah.
If you're not from the South, Texas and over, Buc-ee's is a gigantic, it's like the Walmart of convenience stores, right?
Yes.
You can get steaks, gas, you name it. You can get all kind of stuff in Buc-ee's.
Anything you could dream of.
They have the best deal on the large fountain drinks, by the way. They're like $1.20 for a gigantic one.
Hey, no, okay.
It'll get you from here to like Pennsylvania. I've tried it by car. Anyway, driving. Anyways, this guy, we pulled it up, found it, got his name from his tag number and saw where he's under investigation for taking inappropriate photos of young girls in Buc-ee's. He got arrested there. And our client still, his lawyer, we'll have a whole segment on lawyers one day, says that evidence is not enough. Going in and out of her house at night, in the mornings, we got him staying there 7 times. So why is, number one, why is she even hanging out with this guy?
I was going to say that, but I wasn't going to. So if you already know that he's under investigation for taking these pictures, whatever, at Buc-ee's, why would you even mess with the man? I
don't think she knows. So this happened over in Georgia, and we're in Alabama where this case is going on. So I think she just met him online on some dating app, and they're having a fling. But she's still married, by the way.
Oh, right.
But our client is, he asked for his money back. He had done all kind of stuff. And I'm like, come on, dude. You're not getting your money back, and your lawyer needs to chill out. So I know this lawyer, she's special.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to name any names here, but
And it's like, you got evidence. Like that wasn't even an investigation that led to nothing. Like, you had evidence and you're still upset.
It's one of our best. We have better cases than others, right? Better evidence gathered. This is one of our top 10, I believe. So the amount of evidence we got. And it was a team effort. It was me, my executive assistant, and 3 other investigators. We basically did everything beyond the book, if you want to say that, and got good evidence. And this guy does not agree. I mean, he's an engineer, but I guess he's smarter at investigations than we are. I guess
right.
He's better. So.
That's the vibe I do get from a lot of people. But then they seem to ease up. Once we start doing the work, a lot of people do seem to ease up and go, oh, I think they know what they're doing.
Right.
And take my hands off of it.
Yeah. I mean, we're not just we are rednecks, but we're not a bunch of rednecks that just fell off a turnip truck and said, hey, I want to be investigators.
No, and I do have to say, like, I can talk like that all day long, but it's hard to trust people. And especially if you're going through such a rough time, divorce, where you're not, the person you should have trusted, you can no longer trust. It's hard to trust anybody at that point, I'm sure. So I do get it at the same time.
Right. Yeah. And I don't know, client expectations is a big thing. And I try to, on the front end, talking to people and through the contracts we write down and they sign.
Yes.
Saying, hey, we may not find anything. You're still under obligation to pay, but we're going to do everything in our power to prove what you suspect is going on.
So, I mean, even in like the details of the contract, it's attempt to boom, boom, boom. It's not, we will definitely find boom, boom, boom.
Yeah. So, and then it has the big thing. It says we cannot guarantee the results of this investigation right there. Yes. And it also has a partner that says no money back too. So
yes, it's not a long contract either. It's about 2 pages.
Right. It's very short, very to the point. And it was written by a lawyer friend of mine, or I wrote it and he kind of made tweaks.
Yeah.
But client expectations is a big thing. And we try to lay it out up front saying, hey, we may not find anything. Now, if we screw up because
that's on us.
Investigator being lazy or we just do something stupid, I will and have refunded money.
Yeah.
We also have people that'll go in and do a chargeback on their credit card. We've had that happen before. And we're talking very limited instances here. I've been in business since 2018. It's happened twice.
Yeah.
But they didn't get what they wanted, so they took their money back that way. But
there's a funny story about the one woman who handed Macky a fake check and then called back like 2 days later and was like, I have another one for you.
Yeah. Yeah, we had a lady, I met with her. She wanted us to do an investigation into some financial fraud.
Yes.
And I met with her and she had a cashier's check. It looked suspicious to me. I'm not a banking expert. All right. But I looked at this thing and I know a cashier's check should have a date on it and they look official. This one did not look official. So I called the bank PNC who was written on. They said, no, it's a fake one. I said, hey, this is a fake check, a fake cashier's check. And she said, no, it's not. I said, it is. And I just got my car and left. Then she called back later to Victoria and said, hey, I've got another one for you. I got another fake check for you. Don't try it. I'm like, no, I'm good. But
the audacity.
Yeah, it's crazy.
So funny.
But that's it. Yeah. All right. That's it on client expectations and a few samples of some cases we worked out here. And we'll be back again with another episode soon. And talk to you later. Bye.
Peace and blessings.
Peace and blessings from Victoria. And bye from me.